Hello and welcome to another edition of Motor Cars Enthusiasts. Right off the bat on today's show, Lotus is in the news. And for something rather interesting, now that they're all flush with cash thanks to that new ownership group overseeing the Lotus operation, they're looking into the future of brand new automobiles. In fact, a pair of brand new sports cars that are coming down the pike. Somewhat of a entry-level version, if you will, and a high-end sports car they're actually looking at building as well. These two are not super surprising, and the fact that they're coming out in the next couple of years, by the year 2020, is good news if you're a Lotus fan. But there's also some more interest coming. In fact, especially after those two vehicles launch, Lotus is going to be launching a brand new sport utility vehicle. Yes, you heard me right. Those weird photographs and shots that we got to see last year of some concept art and especially some patent photographs end up that those things were real, and Lotus is exactly looking into building this particular machine. Lotus has come out and said this vehicle won't be the best as far as cargo space is concerned, but it will be the best handling SUV to ever reach customers' hands. So it's going to be pretty interesting to see what Lotus may have up their sleeve for this brand new sport utility vehicle, not to mention two new sports cars. Next up on the list, handful of days ago, the brand new Mercedes-Benz AClass actually broke ground. This particular vehicle launched in Amsterdam by the head of Mercedes-Benz, calling this the more grown-up vehicle. And Mr. Dieter Zetsche, I think, is exactly right when it comes to that particular deal. The vehicle is very striking, very good-looking, but a lot more grown-up, less boy racer, if you will. And especially a lot better looking than the first go-rounds of the old A-Class. Now this vehicle's all about the interior package. In fact, that's basically what the entire press conference actually consisted of, especially the brand new voice activation system that does a lot of stuff, the brand new navigation system, especially that you can apparently only use 3 words, the navigation system will instantly know what you're talking about, which I didn't find to be completely clear as mud, if you will. So we'll have to wait and see on that front, including a brand new navigation system that uses real-time cameras inside of the automobile to show off what's in front of you and where you need to turn, which is pretty doggone slick as well. They even made the bold claim that you won't even actually be operating your smartphone inside this vehicle. This vehicle is basically going to be a charger for your smartphone, because the whole infotainment package and the use of this new system and the new touchscreens and smart systems inside of the vehicle are going to be way more entertaining than actually playing with your phone. So that's a situation we'll have to wait and see on, but it did look very, very intriguing. As far as the hard points of the machine, I do have some Euro specs on the vehicle, including the entry-level power options coming from the 114 horsepower diesel option. There are a pair of petrol or gasoline options as well. A 1.4 liter making 160 horsepower and a 2 liter making 221 horsepower. Again, too, there's going to be an AMG version coming down the pike, which I'm obviously very excited about. And it'll be interesting to see just what happens with this vehicle down the road. There is another little deal coming out from Mercedes-Benz, and they're going to be doing some changes as far as the naming of these automobiles. The A-Class, GLC, all those names will continue on as far as the letters are concerned. But after the letters, every car is going to have a 2-number system. Gone is the whole situation where it talked about the displacement of the engine or even the power of the engine. It's just going to be basically some random number. Like this particular car, chances are, is going to be called the A40. The A40 is going to be the standard edition. In fact, the 0 in the last 2 numbers is going to basically give you somewhat of an idea that this is going to be somewhat of a normal style automobile. If the last number is a 3 in the 2 numbers, that means it's the more higher end or even the performance version. So we'll have to wait and see just what exactly this is going to do and how all that stuff you learned as far as knowing what Mercedes were and weren't. That's going to kind of go out the window. You have to get to relearn it all over again. Next up on the list, Grid Girls. This is one of the weirdest stories. I just figure it to be a non-story. In fact, something I didn't even think I was going to even talk about until I actually did a lot of research into it. So here's the situation. Formula One made the announcement, and the FIA made the announcement, and the media group behind the Formula One, Liberty Media, actually came out and said that they're getting rid of Grid Girls for the year 2018. Again, if you don't know what a grid girl is, it's basically just like it sounds. There's young ladies that are actually in front of all the gridded up cars on the lineup. They're part of the pomp and circumstance at the beginning of the race, and they stand out in front of the automobiles with a small placard that chances are has the racer's name, maybe the number, their part of the world that they revive from, and some other odds and ends, especially some sponsorship stuff on it as well. And all the girls are usually dressed up as far as the sponsorship group, as far as the race is concerned, or maybe another group that's actually sponsoring all these young ladies in this particular capacity. You actually see them too a lot in motorcycle racing and open wheel racing as well, called umbrella girls as well, but a lot of those are actually done up by the teams themselves, especially around the sponsorship groups that are backing the teams themselves. I felt this was kind of a non-story when I first started looking into it, because I thought, you know what, if they didn't announce this probably about 6 or 7 races in before I would even realize the grid girls were gone. Now, I'm just like any man or woman. I don't mind looking at these ladies. They're fine to look at, indeed. But I just really thought this was a non-story. Until you really start looking at how many people this thing affects, and how many entities of groups of people who are really, really upset about this deal. Obviously, a lot of the grid girls themselves are upset because, you know what, they've lost a job, if you will. Even if they just did one round of the series a year, that's still a pretty good gig for the year, along with all their other duties that they have as far as their jobs in and out of racing. So I understand that they're upset, but there's a lot of entities that are really upset that I'm kind of surprised at. So it's going to be interesting to see what Liberty Media and the FIA and Formula One end up doing about this deal, and whether this thing changes coming up in just under just under 2 months from the first round of the Formula One Grand Prix in Australia. If this changes a bit or not, I have to say I'm just kind of on the fence now. I didn't think it was that big of a deal, but now you see how it affects people. It's kind of got me on the fence. I don't know whether it should go or it should stay or what should actually end up happening. If you got any opinions, put it down in the comments section below. Next up on the list, well, we've all known about the Alpine 110. That's actually been around with us for a handful of months, especially in public hands. But there's one less of these vehicles on the planet now, and we're going to get to see its fiery end in all its glory on the next season of the BBC show Top Gear. Ex-Formula One team owner Eddie Jordan was in the passenger seat alongside one of the presenters, Chris Harris, who was at the wheel in one of the special stages of Rally Monte Carlo when the car basically caught fire and burnt to the ground. So, not for sure what exactly happened to the Alpine when it actually caught flames. Maybe we'll learn more about that, and we're definitely going to get to see some interesting video of it when that deal airs. No word on when the new season of Top Gear will actually air. The first teaser video has come out. If you haven't seen it, it's up on the Motor Cars Enthusiast Facebook page if you'd like to check it out. I'm assuming it's going to happen within the next couple of months, maybe right after this current season of the Grand Tour, so we'll have to wait and see on that front. And speaking of Rally Monte Carlo, big congratulations to Sebastian Ogier, his 5th straight Rally Monte Carlo win. And in sport, which is still a big coup for getting Sebastian Ogier back in their car for this year, trying to put up with the funding, and still doing it as a privateer team and getting their 2nd ever taste of Rally Monte Carlo win. There was a heck of a rally. Cannot wait for Rally 2 happening in Sweden just a week or so. It's going to be pretty doggone entertaining. It was a good start to the season. That is the WRC season. And that's all there was that I thought was worth talking about for this edition of Motor Cars Enthusiast. Don't forget to like us over on the Facebook page. In fact, I'm going to be putting up all the Super Bowl automobile ads that are going to be firing up in the big game. If you want to check them out or relive them, or just want to check out, see if you missed any, you can check them out on the Facebook page there. Also, if you'd like to subscribe to the channel, you can do so at any time and get the first dibs on the brand new shows as soon as they come out. Thanks for watching. We'll see you again real soon.